What's happening, guys? It's Jeremy Blanton with Remax Southern Shores, and today we're going to discuss the pros and cons of living in Myrtle Beach versus living down in Charleston, South Carolina, and why living here might be a better option for you than Charleston, South Carolina. We also might talk a little bit about, some of the other coastal beaches along South Carolina, like Hilton Head and some of those things, and make some of those comparisons along the way. But one of the biggest questions that I always get asked is, well, we're thinking about moving to Myrtle Beach. We're thinking about moving to Charleston or Somerville area. Why is Myrtle Beach the place we should be versus living down there? And honestly, I think it is. And the reasons why I'm going to share with you here in just a few minutes. Hopefully you guys find it valuable. If you do, as always, give it a thumbs up, get the bell on, and make sure you subscribe, because there's going to be tons of information coming your way over the next few months. And also there's tons that is already here that you can check out from over the last few years that we've shot about pros and cons of living in Myrtle Beach, the advantages of living here, things to do, tourist traps to avoid. All that kind of information you're going to find on the channel, and hopefully it'll help to make your decision of making the move to Myrtle Beach easier in the long run. If you need help doing that, my contact information is down below. Feel free to reach out to me. Would love to help you with that as well. But anyway, let's get going. So the first thing on the list that I wanted to discuss is the weather here versus Charleston. Honestly, it's not that big of a difference between here and downtown Charleston. But the biggest thing that I can say is this. Here in the South, we have a lot more warmer weather than we do cold weather. But what we have here that you don't have when you get down into Charleston is there's always a nice ocean breeze. So when it's 85, 90 degrees outside and the humidity's at 110%, it's hot. It's hot just like it is here. It's hot down there. The only difference is we have that breeze that kind of keeps the air flowing and moving, which makes it a little bit more bearable than when you're in downtown Charleston, where there's none at all. I took a trip with my family down there a few years ago, and we were down there in the middle of August, and it was miserable. You couldn't do anything without sweating the minute you walked outside, and you're just looking for some sort of air, some sort of movement of air, just somewhere that you can, not be so hot and sweaty and just miserable outside. Well, here in the Myrtle Beach area, when you're closer to the ocean, you're going to have that ocean breeze most all the time. I live in Carolina Forest, which sits about 3 to 4 miles back from the ocean, and there's always a little bit of a breeze. I live on a pond, and I always see the ripples in the water going along from the water and the air current moving it along. So it's kind of a nice thing to always have that. Now, obviously, as you get a little bit farther inland to places like the inner parts of Conway, you're going to start to lose a little bit of that ocean breeze, and it does start to get that little bit more stagnant heat. But here in the Horry County, most of it's going to have a little bit of an ocean breeze most of the year round. The second thing on the list that I want to talk about is just the natural beauty that we have here in the Myrtle Beach area. Charleston has a lot of history to it. It's a historic town, and I love to take the family, go down there, visit downtown Charleston and see all the historic parts, the beautiful homes along the Battery, take the carriage rides, all of that stuff. Well, here in Myrtle Beach, we don't have as much history, that's for sure, but we do have a lot of beautiful things. We have places like Brook Green Gardens, Huntington State Park, where you can go spend an entire day walking through some of the natural beauty that Myrtle Beach has to offer. In Carolina Forest, we have the Hulk Trail that you can walk along. Down International Drive, you have the Lewis Bay Preserve, where you can go walk through some of the natural trails here in the area. Just a few months back, I went with my youth group. They took a camping trip. I never even knew this place existed, but it's literally like 10 minutes from my house. And it was this great spot right along the water where there were camping sites where we pulled up, the boys slept the whole night, had an awesome time, and we were out in nature right here in Horry County, 5-10 minutes from my house. There's so many things that you can do here in the area to get out and enjoy the beauty that Myrtle Beach has to offer. The third thing on the list that I want to discuss are the beaches. Now, while Charleston has some nice places that you can go down to the beach, they cannot compare to what we have here in Myrtle Beach. Places like the Golden Mile, or Briarcliff Acres, or heck, Myrtle Beach State Park, or some of the piers in those places that we have here in the area. There's so many great spots to go to the beach here in Myrtle Beach. Our beaches are fairly clean, the waters are nice and warm, clear for the most part, it's as clear as you can get. But it's a great spot to go out to the ocean, and our beaches are nice and wide for the most part. So you have spots that you can go spread out, enjoy, relax, and have a great time here at the beach. When I compare our beaches here to growing up, I grew up in Pennsylvania, so where did we always go? down to the Jersey Shore. The beaches there always seemed to be at a much steeper incline, and there wasn't many spots that you could go set up. If it was while the tide was coming in, you basically had to keep all of your belongings up right at the boardwalk and hope that the water didn't get up there and wash them away. Down here in Myrtle Beach, that's nothing to really worry about. There's plenty of places that you can sit all your stuff and not have to worry about it getting soaked as the tide comes in. The fourth thing on our list, which is probably one of the main reasons you're here, is the real estate here in Myrtle Beach versus down in Charleston. Real estate here is, as a whole, going to be much more affordable than down there in the Charleston area. While it's not uncommon down there to find houses that are in the 7-figure range, $1 million and up, and that's kind of the base price for almost a teardown for a lot of it, here in Myrtle Beach, that same $800,000 to $1 million is going to get you a huge difference in property. I have clients right now that are buying a home here from Portland, Oregon. It's closing the end of May. Shout out to Ryan and April. Congrats guys on your new home, but they're buying an awesome home here in Myrtle Beach that's well over 3,000 square feet, brand new, custom built, all types of upgrades and beauty in this home. They're just blown away by what they're able to get for that $875,000 versus their property that they have in Portland, Oregon. Now, the house they have in Portland, Oregon, you could buy that same thing probably down in Charleston for about the same price, but their house there was about 1,300 square feet, built way back in the day versus what they're gonna get here, which is brand new. So you can get a lot more house here in the Myrtle Beach area than you can down in Charleston. What I would say is probably what you could buy down there for $400,000 to $600,000, here is probably going to be about $300,000 to $400,000. So you can see there's a big difference in the price point here versus down in Charleston. The fifth thing on our list is kind of a no-brainer, but being that Myrtle Beach is more of a tourist town than Charleston, which is more of a historic town, is the entertainment that we have here. Charleston has some great things to do, and there's a lot of fun stuff to do that can entertain you each and every day. But I would say that Myrtle Beach as a whole has a lot more to offer. We have so many places that can entertain you all day, all night, every day of the week. We have places like the Carolina Opry, the Alabama Theater. We have, shows that you can go to. You can see magic shows. We talked about them in the past at one point, magic shows. You can go to Broadway at the beach and walk around. You can go to Barefoot Landing. You can go bowling. There's so many things. Mini golf. Gosh, we just did a miniature golf tournament at our church. It was so much fun. We had a tournament that went all day. It was like a full-blown golf tournament, but at a miniature golf course. Yeah, everybody can do that one. So it was a lot of fun and got a whole family involved in being a part of this tournament. So there's so many things that you can do here in the Myrtle Beach area to entertain you and give you stuff to do each and every day that you're gonna have a lot of things to do. You're never gonna run out of options of things. And when you get bored, you always have also that thing over along the coast, the beach, that you can go to that too. Not to mention, a lot of your communities are going to have amenities, community pools, and so many other things that you're never going to be bored and just go, what do we do today? So in closing, as you can tell, Myrtle Beach is obviously the place that I'm going to prefer over Charleston because of the reasons that I mentioned, and well, I live here. But it is a great spot that you can live in. Honestly, both of them are great options for you to live. If you're thinking about making the move to South Carolina and you want information on moving to Myrtle Beach, my information's down below. If you're thinking about Charleston, I have some great connections down there. Going to be able to give you the real and unfiltered version of what it's like living in the Charleston, Summerville area, Mount Pleasant, any of those areas. Feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is down below. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor. Give it a thumbs up, get that bell on, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.